So it's got to be alienating. She effectively has no friends right now, except the other members of the squad who are equally incapable of using their leverage to extract concessions for the American people. So she's got to feel like lonely and alienated and isolated. And so on the one hand, I feel bad for her. But on the other hand, I mean, I guess what I would say is she should have thrown her lot in with the left. And she should have lived up to the idea of the Justice Democrats, which was to be a Tea Party of the left and to really go after Democratic leadership. You don't sit back and let Democratic leadership go after you as you call Pelosi Mama Bear and try to fit in. So on the one hand, I feel bad for her because it must be really lonely. But on the other hand, it's like, well, you made your bed and now you got to sleep in it. It definitely didn't have to be the case that a lot of people on the online left turned on her. But again, she made that bed and so she's going to sleep in it. But here's one thing that's for sure. I do sympathize with her in dealing with a total moron like Marjorie Taylor Greene, because Marjorie Taylor Greene is a clown of all clowns. She's a debate bro. She belongs on YouTube, and she also greatly overestimates her own intelligence. It's hilarious that she's repeatedly called Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez dumb. It's like, whatever you think of AOC, I have zero doubt that she's a hell of a lot smarter than Marjorie Taylor Greene. So anyway, in conclusion, I'll go back to my original point. Go do some legislating. Go pass some bills. Go have committee meetings or some shit. Enough with chasing each other around on the House floor, begging for debates like your YouTubers.
Welcome to a Friday, I would say, holiday weekend episode of You Left Shit Out. I'm your host for today's episode. I'm CJ or Compton J on Twitter. Had that little gym. Sitting for another segment, but I thought, why not play it today? So, essentially saying the same thing we've been saying, or maybe RBN is saying the same thing he's been saying. You guys tell me that, you guys and gals and people tell me that in the comments. Let me see what the caption is to this video. 1 second, it pop up here and there. Let me see what the caption is here. So Kyle, AOC should have thrown her lot in with the left. She should have lived up to the idea of the Justice Democrats, which is to be a Tea Party of the left. You made your bed and now you got to sleep in it. So pretty good summation of the more important parts, or the things that kind of stick out as in being accurate for me, in my opinion, my estimation, of AOC and what they've been doing. So this is from 2021, sorry. May 13th, 2021. And this guy, Matt.
So,
oops, hit it again. It's Matt Dimitri. You can see it there. Let me blow it up. If you want to go search it yourself and repost it, you can yourself. So that's the name there. You can go check it out. I'm sure you can see it. Yeah. So you can go check it out if you like. All right. So we have actually, I had to cut down the amount of topics. So I'll tell you what the original list was, and then I'll read what's in the description box. So I'll put the graphic up just to go over the first item. The national assault on Elon's, or let's just say his full name, Elon Musk's Twitter. To me, there seems to be a concerted effort to make Twitter the new battleground. And I don't see that as a coincidence. now that an oligarch has taken over Twitter. So he could be a participating actor, being the villain in this narrative. But anytime New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and whoever, Bloomberg, CNN, MSN, anytime all of them are kind of pushing the same thing, I kind of step back. And I think as Marxists, we should all kind of step back and say, what is the contradiction here? Because to me, it's a contradiction for mainstream media or corporate media to care what's actually happening to us. That's a contradiction to me, because that it doesn't play out and their ownership proves it. So I'm saying to step back on this whole narrative, because I get the petty bourgeoisie. We have, all the, regular figures, the TYT brand, everybody from TYT. It's like everybody, majority report, all these people. They're all pushing. I get why they have a stake. This is a class war to them. They're the poor to Elon, and so the whole blue check and charging, so that's a class struggle for them. But I'm talking corporate media. The fact that they're still on this story, the fact that they're relentless with Elon Musk, I'm looking at it a little suspicious to me. So that is the thumbnail story, the headline story. And then, of course, we're going to talk about the Amazon Black Friday strike that's going on around the world. That's the reason for Jeff Bezos. And then the guy with the painted face and hat, the guy, I'm sure you're familiar from him. He was probably the most recognizable person from January 6th. So yeah, we have the story of January 6th, where FBI pretty much admits that they have, I believe, it's like six or eight informants on the ground, or FBI agents, actually, I think. So agents and informants. Maybe it's a combination of both. So I'll make sure I include both before we get to the story, because I can't recall vividly. So, and then we'll go to some other side stories. Democrats should nominate a Republican successor. That's out of the hill. It is straight foolishness. So that's our funny segment, but not so funny segment. Well, not finally, but Walmart shooter. We'll cover the latest on that and what sort of they were calling it his death note, what it says. We'll cover that. Let me put this up here so I'm not looking down. All right. So, some of the other things that I don't think is going to make it in. President Miguel Diaz-Canel Bermudez visits Russia and China. So, Cuban president visits China is the main story out of that line. U.S. passes 600 mass shootings for the third straight year. I don't think we're going to get to that article today. Louisville reaches $2 million settlement with Kenneth Walker, Breonna Joy Taylor's boyfriend. That is the first one. If we're able to get to any of these ones we're not able to get to, that'll be the first one we cover. If we are. Black veterans receive lower benefits because of racism. So you see, there's a lot of stories. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 stories. So I think I have 5 counted that we're going to be covering today. I already told you which ones were included when we went over the first list. So that is a lot to cover. How was everybody's dinner, if you had a dinner? And I'm not talking about necessarily celebrating a holiday, because we don't necessarily celebrate a holiday, but family is off work, so everybody comes over and eat. So that's what I'm talking about. If you don't do that, then what did you do? Talk to me in the comments before I go. Oops. What is this here? What was I supposed? Oh, I'm supposed to be going over here. Talk to me in the comments before I go to or give me your answers to that question before I go to the comments, so I can get your what did you do sort of comments that you did yesterday for the chat check. So that'll be the next thing. But the first thing we're going to do is shout out our Substack. Our Substack is where you could join our mailing list. Sorry, I had a brain freeze. Where you can join our mailing list and you can receive notifications from when we go live. I have cotton mouth. Notifications from when we go live. All right, I asked my daughter to bring me some water. Forget where I was at. Oh, join our mailing list, Substack. We eventually will be writing articles there. I know Nick is a good writer. I've done some on our previous website, so I'll dabble in it a little bit too, and I'm sure others will contribute as they want. But for right now, it's where we notify people of our streams, notify people of our clips that we put out. We put out three clips yesterday. One of which was the debate that Jimmy Dore's wife, Steph Z, hosted along with JB and Sabby with some third-party candidates. It's 2 hours. It's a pretty good debate. It's on capitalism, minimum wage, public schooling, and some other things. Income inequality. Go check out that one. Another one, a couple of other ones. So anyway, that's where you can get that. That's where you can get notifications if you join there. This is where we were at yesterday. Let's see if we have increased. If you are here brand new, please subscribe. Please share. If you have subscribed to us before, make sure you double check, as YouTube has been known to unsubscribe people, as does Twitter too. They do that. So it looks like we gained about 20 or so people overnight, or 2 days, sorry, over the holiday. And the next thing is, let's like the stream. Last time I checked, we were somewhere hovering around 80 or so likes. We have almost 200 people watching. So let's get that number up to 175. Let's see if we can get to 175 likes. And now let's go to your comments. I'm going to keep that up there, but let's go to your comments. We're the goal is 175. As we go through these comments here, I'll start from the bottom and then go all the way up to the beginning. So here we go. Smash like, you knuckleheads. Thank you. Let's see here. Really good to hear, Sean. Drank 2 bottles of wine. Okay. Drank 2 bottles of wine and helped in the kitchen all day with the G's. Word. Abiding 71. That's sort of like what I did. Real chill day. So good to hear. Any other people, let me know what you did yesterday. You kind of look like Genuine. Do you mean Genuine or Genuine, the singer? I don't celebrate that holiday, but I am in France now, and I was teaching English at a local junior high. Wow, that's cool. I do remember Michelita, because you have a unique name. I do know a person with that name over here, one other person, but it's a very unique name, or a rare name, I should say. So yes, shout out to you in France. I know it's late there, because last time I remember you saying, "Hey, I'm going to bed." You don't have to celebrate Thanksgiving per se, but most cultures have harvest. That's the word I was trying to think of. I didn't want to say autumn. That was the word. So thank you, Bill Bradley, for this comment. I'll finish reading it, but harvest, sort of a harvest celebration, is what my family sort of does, which was around. So you don't have to celebrate Thanksgiving per se, but most cultures have harvest festivals, which, when you strip away the false mythology around the day, it boils down to harvest celebration. Correcto mundo. Dinner with the family. I had my coffee earlier. Hey everyone, I'm going to drive and listen. I'm all ears. Okay, so we got to make sure we're very descriptive. But we do have a listening only audience, but that is something I always have to make sure I'm paying attention to. Went to see grandpa. That's the good part of the season is that people are off. So it's good to go see your family you haven't seen because capitalism doesn't allow for that. So anytime you're allowed to go see family, socialize with your community, I'm for that. I'm for a day off work. Although I'm for a day off or 2 days off work anytime. Any 2 days you're not working and not shopping, that has to be coupled together, and we'll talk about that later. Homemade pizza and pumpkin pie. That sounds delicious. What I had, although I don't like pizza except for barbecue pizza, and that's because it's not really pizza, just barbecue chicken, sauce, and bread. But my wife, we had Thanksgiving for the first time at our home, so we hosted or condo. So we hosted, and my wife actually did turkey. She was like, I know your family doesn't do turkey. We stopped doing turkey probably 15 years ago. Just all of us getting literally choked up off eating the chicken. We just kind of looked like, why are we doing this to ourselves? So we changed it and started eating something else like grilled chicken or different types of like healthy cooked chicken. But my wife brought it back and she made it with I don't know what she did, but she's a good cook. She brine it. Is brining, is that called something? Is that a thing? She brined it for a long time, like overnight and stuff. And she followed some sort of recipe and the way you cook it and had this sort of contraption to cook it. And that shit was like chicken. Like it tastes like the inside was like chicken. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, this shit is something's up with this shit. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. I'll have seconds today, see how it goes. Here in Bucaramanga, Colombia, it's not a holiday. Wow, internationally. Now I've been to Cali, Colombia. Wow, it was a while ago. Yeah, I don't need to give you the year, but I've been to Cali, Colombia. I was out there for maybe a month, or not quite a month, and loved it. That's where I was sort of first stopped, but I went throughout the countryside, and it was very a culture shock, I would say, for them and me for them to see me and not me speak English, and for me to see them and them speak Spanish because they look like me. The places where I went, like in the countryside, not like the city part, like our hotel, but we would travel out, and that was a culture shock for me. Because the people I grew up, parts of Compton, it was like 95% Hispanic or Latino, and I forget what I was gonna say. Oh, so I was used to people who spoke Spanish being more fair skinned. So when I showed up in Cali, Colombia, that was shocking to me. Culture shock. Like I had heard it, but they were looking at me like gringo and calling me gringo. So to them, gringo is not a color; it's just you're American. I guess that's the way it goes. Who you got in the cage? Oh, so they're having another conversation in there. All right, let me see a couple more comments, and then we're gonna get started because we could chat for a long time about just what everybody did, what I did. So yeah. So my mom and wife kind of jointly talk to my daughter about, because she's on the cusp of being a teenager. She's a tween, or my middle daughter, that is. And, they're giving her the woman talk. Don't be chasing men. Never. That's never to happen. So that's the conversation I walked in on. I'm like going back and forth. I'm going to my bedroom or our bedroom, watching a little sports, and then I'm going back out front after we've eaten, hearing this conversation. So that was very interesting. Anyway, so hello, gamer. Audi. Like I said, I can talk about nothing for a while. I'm glad Amazon workers are striking. Sorry if I'm moving a little close. Is this Kyle Kalinske? Yes. So not, yeah, I understand. Yeah, it's not the correct spelling, but I do get what you're saying. Hey, y'all. What's up, Rick? Why do I feel like he seems so slimy? Don't know. I'm not saying he is. I don't want anybody to say that. Kyle sold his soul a while ago. All right. I think I'll leave that stop with this one. She gets an A+ for GOA, and that's more than AOC can say. Wow. You're rhyming, huh? I think that was meant to be a rhyme. Oh. That's good, CJ. It's a needed conversation for girls. I talk to my 4th and 5th graders about that sort of stuff when it comes up. Yeah. So yeah, that was interesting to see the family dynamic. And my mom talked about, let me talk about this story. Keep liking the stream. We're at 245. Let's push to 200. My mom talked about something, and as I was sitting at the table and she was talking, what I thought of was communism and the Black radical tradition and things of that nature. And let me tell you why. So she was saying, oh yeah, my mom is a ordained pastor herself. Her father, or my grandfather, was a pastor of a church. They were sharecroppers from Louisiana. That's where our indigenous sort of ancestry part traces back through that route. Like my mom said, yeah, we had natives who lived next door to us. Like they would say, oh, yeah, they would refer to them in a certain way, and that meant that they were the native people. Like, so I'm younger in my family dynamic. I'm the youngest boy. I have 3 older brothers. One's deceased. Rest in peace, Robert. So I'm the youngest. So I have, my mother is older, is an older mom than most of you may have. But she's telling the story about how now my mom is one of 13 kids. Of course, she's one of the younger ones too. So most of them are deceased. But my mom, and so imagine cooking for them. So the conversation was like, how did it go for Thanksgiving for you when you were younger? Oh, my mom would cook loads and loads of food. That's what they were talking about. Because I was like, how are we gonna eat all this food here? Like, we don't have enough people to eat. And then she was like, my mom got into the story. Her mom used to cook all these loads and loads of food. And she was telling the story, and she began to say, she's cooking for 13 kids. And then she's like, yeah, I think that's what my wife said. And then she's like, no, cooking for the community. She didn't say it that way. She's like, we cooking for people. She's like, they would cook loads, and then we would have lines of people at my mom's house. My dad was a pastor, so they did this work. Loads of people every Sunday. She said their house was packed because her dad did the work in the community of feeding the community. And that's where my mom gets it from, because my mom did the same thing when I grew up. I remember her Now, she did it from a Christian point of view. Like, she would give you a biblical track, not sit there and talk to you. She would just give it to you, but feed you, talk to you just regular. But there would be like literature there. If you had questions, she would talk to you, but she wouldn't push it. But the food was the main item, and that's where she got. That's where she got it from. So it is a family sort of tradition, at least in my family. And what I was thinking was, this is communism. This is what capitalism has pushed us away from. There's no store. Like, my grandparents, granddad, 1904, 1905. My grandmom was a year older. So you're talking the depths. Because if they're born in 1904, you got to literally think they are, what, a generation, 2 generations since 1946, the 13th Amendment. So anyway, I can go into that story too. But the story that my mom was telling me was just an illustration of how we've gone away from our tradition. Feeding ourselves, taking care of ourselves, being self-sustained. That's something that we used to do. And that's the tradition, and I believe of primitive communism, which is the community, right? So anyway, that's the warm up. Didn't mean it for it to be a warm up. Let me throw up some of your comments before we get in there, because I know I kind of extended the warm up. And let's see what the first story, just like I did the other day. I'm gonna just go by the feel and see what the first story I'm going to do. Turkey isn't even American, it's brought from Europe. Turkey Thanksgiving is carnage. I like to see Immortal Technique as a guest on RBN. Think it would be great. That's freaking crazy. Actually, I don't know if so I used to run clubs. I'm a jack of all trades. I've had a lot of jobs. So I used to run clubs in Orange County and California, and or help run. It wasn't just me. Partnering with other people. And I believe one time we did have Immortal Technique perform. I don't know if we still have that contact, but we had Nipsey Hussle before he was big. Like, when he used to cost, I think we paid him 10K. Not we, but like the club paid him 10K. So I mean, at his death, he was making more than 10 times, 20 times that. So just imagine how long ago that was. So people like that, we had like what's the guy that sings "Slow Down"? Jeremiah. He was there. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. But yeah, he would be interesting to have. Maybe we can have a hip hop show. I've talked about this, about having a hip hop show before. Awkward may contribute. I don't know if you know Awkward from Twitter. Anyway, California needs the rain bad. I gotcha. That is absolutely true. All right, I gotta stop on the comments. I see a lot of great comments. I'm sorry. I'm happy everybody is here. Keep liking. That'll pop our video up, and a lot of other people stream, and they'll join in and be in a conversation with us. So we can just sit here on this holiday, eat some leftovers. I had some sweet potato pie along with some yams. It's kind of the same thing, one in baked form, or both were baked, but so it was great. And I'm going to be eating some more of that right after this, actually. So keep liking the stream, and let's get into it. So let's get into the first topic here. Let's see what we will be covering first. I want to start slow, one of the slower stories. So let's go this way. Not slow, but one of these stories, the shorter story is what I meant to say, is shorter story. And we will go to, actually, let's start here. Let's start with the latest shooting in VA. This is, I don't think this is this is not the real Brooklyn Dad Defiant, because the actual name looks different. Well, this was
Just left out the break room. Manager come in there.
Sorry. This video went viral. Okay. This video went viral. It's about 500,000 views right now. And it was posted a couple of days ago. So let's cover the VA shooting. And I'm just going to label it Walmart shooting so it matches the title that we have. So Walmart shooting. And just some of the details is pretty shocking. Some of the details pretty shocking. But let's go through this. This is a shorter segment. It's a couple of videos. And then we'll just kind of give our thoughts on it and move to the next story. But this was a Walmart worker. You can see his Walmart. He has his sweater and his vest, his Walmart vest on it. Perhaps I'm not going to assume what type of worker, but he has his Walmart vest on right now, and he's doing a video like seconds or maybe minutes after leaving the actual shooting or inside the premises. So let's listen. It's less than a minute.
Just left out the break room. Manager come in there, started capping people up in there. Started shooting, bro. Like, I'm whole though, y'all. Sadly though, we lost a few of our associates. I don't know how many. I'm not gonna speak on it. I'm not gonna show it because I ain't like that. But I'm whole, y'all. The story is that. I mean, I came in, goddamn. I'm going out here. Shooting. Goddamn. Yeah.
Bro, I was just about to come in and get some snacks.
Ain't getting them now.
What?
But pretty much, the manager came in here, started dumping, man. As soon as I left out the break room, he went in there, man. By the grace of God, yo. Man, I don't know. That shit, wow. Just left out.
So, there's a lot to say about what could bring. Why is this happening in our society? You know, and it's hard for us as a people, as as United States citizens. It's hard for us to diagnose the problem collectively when capitalists who own everything and the means and like the means of production, but owns all media, to tell you that it's not capitalism, is everything but capitalism. So it's hard to really identify the problem, which is capitalism, when we have media and other people saying it's everything else but that. Now, it's whether capitalism because of distress, is whether capitalism because of mental health falling through the cracks because mental health is not really addressed. So it could be different forms of why it's capitalism. So, yeah, just unfortunate. I'm going to play it one more time and just listen. A customer walking up. So literally, like, there's not enough emergency vehicles on site, whether ambulance or police, for a customer walking up to even know that something is really even going on. That's how soon this video was made. Just unfortunate. Let's continue. Let's see what other items I have here. Oops. Oh, I gotta go out of the thread. My bad, everybody. This, of course, is in Chesapeake, Virginia. Chesapeake, Virginia. And now let's go to another video here. Just want to get the information, more details. This one is like 45 seconds. So let's listen. I think this is when it first broke.
Time now, 5:34. There has been another mass shooting in the U.S., this one happening at a Walmart supercenter in Virginia.
At least 7 people are dead, including the shooter. Now, it happened last night in Chesapeake. That's sits near Norfolk and Virginia Beach. Zach Lasway has been following the story from our newsroom this morning. Zach.
On another sad day, this is not the news you want to wake up to. In addition to those 6 victims who lost their lives, we are hearing 5 others are being treated at a hospital. Police say they got the call at 10:12 last night. They say when they got to this Walmart, you see there on your screen, there was still an active threat.
Time now, 5:34. There has been another mass shooting in the U.S. This one happened.
Wow. So, like I said, that was just when it first happened. Let's go to the next receipt here, and that's the I believe this is the police chief. But let me read the caption. A Walmart manager opened fire on fellow employees in the break room of a Virginia store, killing 6 people in the county's second high-profile mass shooting in 4 days. Police and witness say. This video is a little bit over a minute, about a minute and 15 seconds. So we're going to listen to that. But let me answer this super chat first. Thank you for the super chat, Frank. CJ, what part of Louisiana is your family from? Just learned that my granddad was born in Baton Rouge in 1888, and he escaped the slave conditions, stowed away on a boat, and rowed up the Mississippi to Memphis, where we are now. Wow, that's good to know. That the story behind how you got to where you're at. Family, of course, they're in Texas now, but they kind of all migrated to Texas. But I think it was near Shreveport. It was a very small town. It may not even be on the map. It starts with a B. Bolding. I think it's Bolding. Can't remember. I have to look up the pronunciation. It has like a French pronunciation. A lot of cities in that area have that because of the French, or the French history that's down there. So yeah, and what's the other? So yeah, that's what I know off the top of my head. I have this information written down. I just don't have how to pronounce those words exactly. But anyway, let's listen to. And thank you for the super chat again. And let's listen to the news conference.
Good morning. We are truly saddened at the tragedy that took place in our community last night. We are all praying for the family, friends, and coworkers of everyone that's affected by this senseless violence. I want to say to them that your Chesapeake community is here for you and will continue to be here for you during the difficult days, months, and years ahead. Our 911 dispatch center received the first call at 10:12 p.m. last night. The first officers arrived on scene within 2 minutes at 10:14 and entered the store approximately 2 minutes later at 10:16. The first responding officers entered the store and the scene was declared safe by 11:20 p.m. 6 victims have died. 4 victims are in area hospitals with conditions unknown at this time. And the suspect is dead from what we believe was a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The Chesapeake Police SWAT team executed a search warrant at the suspect's residence, and with the help of the Virginia State Police, we cleared the house. We have reason to believe that there's no risk to the public at this time.
So that, I guess, is one of the latest. Let me see if I can get a timestamp on this here. This was 2 days ago. And it's just. Oh, I'm sorry. I did have one other item here. This is 2 other items. So this one, let's show this one first, and then we'll go to the next one. This is Virginia State Senator Lily Lewis Lucas, Democrat, who represents Chesapeake, which just saw a mass shooting at Walmart, calls out Congress on gun control. So that's what this video is. So let's listen to the state Democrat elect, or state Democrat.
The next step will be for the Do Nothing Congress to get up off their asses and back the president in this initiative. And I'm sorry, please forgive me. My emotions are I'm getting a little bit carried away here, but I feel very passionate about this. The members of Congress need to get up off of their behinds and do something to get behind these measures that the president is putting forth, because otherwise we're going to sit back and just continue to see these mass shootings all across this nation. And it makes no sense. And especially since we have within us the power to make a difference and just don't do it. That makes about as much sense as the mass shootings itself.
What would your message be to your colleagues on the other side of the aisle in the wake of what took place in your town?
Wake up and save the lives of your constituents. And you can only do that with common sense, gun violence prevention measures. That's the only way we're going to get to the bottom of this. The next step will be for the Do Nothing Congress to get up off their asses and back the president.
I just wanted to hear that get up off their asses again. Oh, wow. So she's upset. I mean, this is her area, so she's supposed to feel, at least appear to be upset. Not to say that doesn't seem genuine. It seems genuine to me that she believes gun control. I mean, she's a typical 50+ Black person like my mom, who still believes in the Democrats. So I don't think that she's being disingenuous. I think that she really believes that. So here is Sabby had an article here, and let's open this article. Let's get the link. Shout out to Sabby. Sab, thanks for that. This is NPR, and we'll just read a little bit and move on. Now, I thought I had a video, maybe I haven't gotten to it yet, that showed what read the death note. Oh, I saw it live on TV, so I may have to go to like a CNN clip or something. Because I'll try to do that. So let's read a little bit of this article. And here it is. NPR: police released the names of victims in the Virginia Walmart shooting. Chesapeake, Virginia. The youngest victim of the Walmart Supercenter shooting is in Virginia was 16 years old. The city announced that Lorenzo Gamble, Brian Pendleton, Kelly Pyle, Randall Blevins, and Tanika Johnson were also killed in the attack. People are withholding the names of the teenager due to him being a minor. 4 others were hospitalized. It's still unclear which of the deceased may have been shoppers or were employees at the store. The police identified Andre Bing, 31, early Wednesday as the gunman. He had been employed by Walmart as an overnight team lead since 2010. Wow. The same team lead for fucking... There's no upward mobility there. Team lead, 10,000. That's what, 12 years? The company confirmed. Bing was allegedly armed with 1 handgun and multiple magazines on him when he was found. He was dressed in civilian clothing and was not wearing any type of armor or ballistic vest, the city and police said. 3 of the deceased were found in the store break room. Bing was found at the scene dead from what is believed to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound, according to police. The city added. Another person was found dead near the front of the store, the city said. The other 3 victims were transported to local hospital but succumbed to their injuries. So that's all I need to read from the article. We're going to go back to Twitter and we'll end with talking about the death note. We'll add this part into the segment so we can make sure we get a complete story of what happened Just terrible. And I'll give more of my thoughts. I mean, you know where I'm going, that we are living in a very sick society. Mass shootings are a symptom of a very sick, collapsing, deteriorating society. Well, broadly speaking, I mean, there could be different dynamics in different ones. Added dynamics, I should say. But let's go with Death Note. I'm sure it's probably trending. Let's go with Death Note. Wait. Wow. Let's go here. Let's see. Did I say that right? Maybe I did not say that right. So let's go with Chesapeake shooting. Walmart shooting. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. There we go. I'm looking for a trend. So neither one of the first ones brought up anything. Let's look and see what updated videos. I know it's on. Okay, so it looks like I've already played the most updated on here. Let's go to YouTube and pull up the video I saw earlier, and we'll end on this. They actually read the note. I think it was a clip. Was it live or was it a clip? I'm gonna find out in just a second here. Or we're all gonna find out in just a second here. So my daughter, of course, is watching stuff. Did I save anything here? Let's see. Did I save anything? No. So then let's look it up. CNN Walmart shooting. This is just terrible. And it's so funny because I have another story that I don't think I'm going to be able to get to, but it's saying how we've hit the mark of 600 shootings. So okay, here it goes. It just says note. Maybe they took the death part off. So my apologies so don't search death note. I could have swore that's how they referred to it. It wasn't this news clipping, but let's play it. Authorities disclose note found on Walmart shooter's phone.
This just into CNN. The city of Chesapeake, Virginia, has now released new information about the Walmart employee who opened fire on his co-workers, killing 6 people before taking his own life. 2 people remain hospitalized, including one of them in critical condition. City officials now say the shooter purchased the handgun the very morning of Tuesday's attack. CNN's Diane Gallagher has been following the story for us. They also released a message that the gunman had left on his phone. What do we know?
Yeah, Jim, this is probably the biggest development in the police investigation that we've had since that shooting that claimed the lives of 6 people at Walmart in Chesapeake, Virginia on Tuesday. According to the city of Chesapeake, police did a forensics analysis of the shooter's phone, which they found on the scene, and say they determined that there was a note on that phone. It was entitled Death Note on the phone. They released a screen grab of that on their Twitter account this morning. Look, the note talks about his grievances against himself, against his coworkers. It talks at length about God and the Holy Spirit and essentially feeling inadequate and angry about things. Look, we don't talk a lot about these because essentially they are excuses for murdering people, 6 people at that Walmart. But I do want to read you just 2 excerpts from this here. One of them saying, "The associates gave me evil, twisted grins, mocked me and celebrated my downfall the last day. That's why they suffer the same fate as me." It also says, "I wish I could have saved everyone from myself. May God forgive me for what I'm going to do." Again, it was entitled Death Note. The city also adding that there were talks about, we discussed that search warrant that was executed at the shooter's home, Andre being 31 years old, after the shooting occurred. They say that they found a box of ammunition, various items in there in reference to that 9mm semi-automatic handgun that they say he was armed with. In addition to several magazines that were on the scene at his home, they found the box, a receipt, and other paperwork. And again, he purchased that gun on the morning of the shooting there on Tuesday. And look, most important in all of this, the community of Chesapeake trying to recover from this, reeling from that shooting, and those victims who I want to show their faces and say their names again because they are center of this shooting. Lorenzo Gamble, Brian Pendleton, Kelly Pyle, Randall Blevins, Tanika Johnson, and a 16-year-old boy who was killed, all of them working at Walmart. They were co-workers of that shooter, Andre Bing, who, again, was the overnight team lead at Walmart, according to the company, and had been with Walmart since 2010. Many of the survivors we spoke with described the shooter as somebody who was often paranoid or who was condescending and mean to them as employees, and said still, though, that they didn't expect this to be the way that was going to turn out, Jim.
I want to put that note back up and see more what this is saying here. So let's go back to the beginning. Right here. The associates gave me evil, twisted grins, mocked me, and celebrated my downfall the last day. That's why they suffer the same fate as me.
Grins, mocked me and celebrated my downfall the last day. That's why they suffer the same fate as me. It also says, I wish I could have saved everyone from myself. May God forgive me for what I'm going to do. Again,
I wish I could have saved everyone from myself. May my God forgive me for what I'm going to do. So that's, yeah, so I was right. It was called a death note. They didn't have it in the title, but that is that's what it was. This is just just wait to hear more information. I mean, I'm trying to see. You know what? He was good enough for them to promote into some sort of supervisory role. So let's wait and hear more information, I guess, before I can make a comment more specifically on him. But think about, when I'm thinking about this story, I'm thinking about the layers upon top layers of how capitalism has failed us and has brought us to this point. That's what that's my takeaway from it. I'll toss up a couple of your comments, but then we're going to move to the next story. I think that is actually the latest, is the death note was the latest. That's the thing I heard today. Or was it yesterday? So that's the latest thing I heard. So I believe we've covered the majority or the vast majority of the latest details of the story. Walmart management, not moral and ethical decent. Come on. I am of the prescription to the notion that religion is a mental illness. Yes, capitalism is very toxic. I mean, this guy was obviously not getting the adequate mental health care in the United States, peak capitalism society. Yes, like, like not treating people like manifests itself physically and mentally. But capitalism don't really care for that. They don't really care that these things are happening. All they see it as, these are just workers killing each other. Who cares? That's why nothing has changed. You understand that Sandy Hook, little kids, white children were killed, and they basically haven't done much. They haven't done nothing. So like I don't, you know, and I don't mean necessarily gun control. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about they haven't done anything to lessen people's harm of the system, to lessen the trauma being done to people, so people won't do trauma to other people. That they're not doing anything to lessen that. But anyway, those are my final words on the story. I think I want to move back to Twitter, and let's move to our next story. Today I came slightly more prepared. So I was able to save all of my all of my sort of media that I need to use in my bookmarks, like 95% of them. So let's move to the next thing, and let's do this quick story since I have the headline here with Nick. This will be the next story, and then we'll go to the main story for Elon Musk. Let's close this one. I have a lot of these things open. Let me close these. Jink. All right. Okay. All right. So let's Dems to GOP. So you get the shorthand. Democrats to nominate GOP. This is a clown show. Democrats should nominate a Republican successor to Pelosi. Now, to be fair, it's not much of a difference. To be fair, it's not. So let's be accurate in that sense. All right, so let's in between segments, short break, 34 seconds, 45 seconds. Join our Substack if you're just now getting here an hour into the show, or you're watching this on replay. Join our Substack so you're able to get notifications of when we go live, and or when we send out. I was looking for my notes, or when we send out notifications for clips, which probably later tonight we might be doing that tonight. So join our Substack. Also, like this stream. We're at 212 and likes, and we have 345 people watching. Can we push to 300 likes? Let's see if we can push to 300 likes. That's about 85 more likes. 85 more likes. Let's push there. And let me throw up your comments before we move to the next segment, just in case you have some lingering comments from the previous segment. Oops. All politics are pointless. Center-right politics disgust me. They'll put you on anything and everything because they get kickbacks from Big Pharma. True that. Yo, FBI spies, now they know you know you are now a loose end. Psychiatrists are legal drug dealers. So let's see what else is here. The mental health test that could solve the problems like EMDR or DMT and any neurophysiological evaluation costs 20 grand plus. Wow. Capitalism. You see how it's all it always goes back to that, whether if the cost makes it prohibitive to where you can't afford to even get the medicine that you need. You got people in dialysis taking half the amount of medicine they're supposed to take. But anyway, let's get back on track. Remember, we're trying to push our likes to 300. What's up, babe? We're trying to push our likes to 300 likes. And let's get to this next story. Dems to nominate. This is some truly crown shit right here. Dems to nominate, or Dems should nominate a Republican successor to Pelosi. Let me see if I have the article listed here. Oop. These damn pop-ups. How do I keep getting these? Anyway, where is the article? I have that article. Oh, wow. Here we go. So let's put it in the screen here. Let's put the full article. That's the big headline. Here's the actual article. From the Hill. This is an opinion, of course. That's what they're going to label this nonsense. Alton Fry. Okay, these things. Jeez. These things popping up. So Alton Fry is the writer of this opinion piece. And let's read some of it here. Rep. Nancy Pelosi will no longer be Speaker of the House of Representatives, but she could nominate the next Speaker. Let me make sure I got this right here. In doing so, she could point the way towards the political accommodations so badly needed in a polarized America. So this person is saying Nancy could be the person that sort of nudge political discourse, politics into the direction of coming to a resolution, a more center. Wow, just these pops up. So let's continue. Is another pop up? While it has never done before, the Constitution provides an opportunity. While it has never been done before, the Constitution provides an opportunity to choose a speaker who is not a member of the House. Seizing that option, a magnanimous Pelosi could persuade her colleagues to propose a distinguished Republican for the role, a non-elected person, second in command to the White House. Do you see what the fuck's happening here? Vice President, then the Speaker. Let's go ahead and nominate somebody unelected and make them a Republican. This is clown shit. But let's continue as if this is serious. What is this thing that just popped up down here? It's almost the whole screen they take up with advertisement. Anyway, can I make this go away? That's gonna make it bigger. Anyway, obviously she could not do so without the support of the Democratic caucus and her successor as party leader, presumably Rep. Hakeem Jeffries. For Jeffries and the caucus, the proposal would present a clear choice between working with an independent Republican speaker open to bipartisan cooperation and facing protracted friction with an intensively partisan leader, presumably Kevin McCarthy, captive to the most extreme faction within Republican caucus. When they say captive, that means the Freedom Caucus is going to use the power that the squad should have used. That's what they mean, captive. Right? That's the description of people using that power. Furthermore, both in the election of a speaker and in subsequent legislative votes, a Democratic offer to support a nationally respected Republican as speaker would provide a rally for moderate GOP House members to form coalitions. Establishing that pattern would both increase the possibility of a convergent cross-party majority on particular issues and crucially strengthen the leverage of more moderate Republicans in dealing with their own leader. This thing here, convergence, cross-party majority, What? Let's think about some of the things there already have. There's a lot of cross-party majority. Do you know how fast Ukraine aid get the fuck out of the Washington? That shit is on express. So they already have that. But to nominate a Republican speaker who's not elected, to me is just plainly absurd. I don't think I need to read more. I'm going to, is that what this is? Oh no, that's what that is. All right, so I'm going to read some of your comments and then close this short story, move on to the next one, which is Elon Musk and the nationwide assault on Elon Musk. That is the next part here, or the next thing here. So let's go to comments first. Take the banner off. What say you on this last topic? Democrats to nominate or should nominate, in case of this letter, a Republican. It's going to be Cheney. Do you think it? Don't you think that? I was thinking the same thing. They're angling for Cheney. They're bringing her back. Or they want to. That's what the article is pushing. Yep, war bipartisanship. Exactly. I know you put that partisan, but I added the ship part on there. Elon Musk. The role of the corporate press is not to offer information or facts. Their role is to divide the worker and strengthen the capitalist class in their open class warfare against the proletariat. That is poetry. Thank you for the comment. Let's get a couple more comments before we move on. Guillotine billionaires. That's a good last comment to end with. And let's go back to Twitter to go to the next story, which will be, actually, I should have went to YouTube, which we're going to go to. We're going to, we can start on Twitter. So I kind of prefaced this segment here, where in the direction of where I was going to go with it. So if for those that just jumping in here may didn't see the earlier part, so this will be brand new to you. And we're going to call it nationwide assault on Elon, because I don't want to make it too long. But it's Elon's Twitter. So let's actually, I'm going to have to do that, because otherwise people are going to say I'm defending him, and I'm not defending him. You will see. I actually think he's playing a part in this whole thing. Wow, what is Jimmy saying here? Let's see what popped up. Is it about Elon? Oh, just saying if something new came up. But let's type in Elon Musk here. We're going to see what pops up here. And the reason Elon Musk, let's just type in that. Wow, look at that. 10,000 tweets. So let's just go through some of the tweets here. What I specifically wanted to kind of cover. So actually, I'll do that. So I'm going to start at the top, and I'm going to cover a couple of them. So we can start here. So the reason why I call it a nationwide assault on Elon Musk is because, and we're going to show you, we'll go through print, we'll go through Twitter, and we'll go through YouTube. Let me write that down. So we'll go print. So we're talking about an article. We'll go YouTube, and we'll go Twitter. Just to kind of cover a couple of platforms to get the whole story. And the reason I call it an assault, it's unusual. It's unusual for all voices to be kind of saying the same thing to me. Outside of like war, like there's certain things there is, but so So we have CNN, ABC, New York Post, all the major media print outlets, all doing multiple stories, like relentless stories, keeping the story of Elon and Twitter just going. It feels to me like they keep adding a new tidbit to keep a new story in the cycle. And to me, that makes it makes it suspicious to me. And he could be a willing actor in this whole dance that they're doing. And follow me with what I'm saying. What has been determined as a problem? Internet. The proletariat is able to organize. The proletariat, not organize, but talk, get word out, get video out, get content out, get opinions out, outside of the mainstream narrative, outside of the CIA, the ruling class narrative. So what do they want to do? They want to get rid of these platforms. They want to highly censor these platforms. So what if Eli is the person that buys it, takes it over to run it into the ground? What if he's that person? And the narrative of how it's being ran into the ground is what we're seeing now. Everybody and their mama has a problem with Elon Musk. Now, I don't blame so much the people on Twitter. These are just regular people who are just hearing the narratives being given to them by the ruling class through media. But I'm saying, why is this narrative why is it so pervasive, relentless, and continuing? That's what to me makes it suspicious. And if there's a concerted effort from the ruling class, and there's always an angle from them, this would be their angle to sort of squash Twitter, to sort of make Twitter irrelevant. I'm not sure. I'm just saying that this is very suspicious to me, that everybody is doing this, just not particularly buying it. Hold on a second. All right, they're headed to Target or something. So they just wanted me to know. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So I'm just thinking, like, I'm thinking out loud, and I don't have a fully formed opinion on this. I'm just thinking out loud that it seems like something's going on here. Are they trying to sort of destroy platforms where people meet? Because think about what else happened before this. A lot of censorship was happening. A lot of censorship is still happening. You see it right here on the screen. Garland Nixon, I just did a story on that the other day. Garland Nixon was suspended. A lot of people speaking against the war still being suspended. So the ruling class may be feeling like the proletariat is out of control on these platforms. We're trying to rein them in with censorship. That may not be working. So get an oligarch to take over the whole thing, take it private, and run it into the ground. So let's go through a couple of tweets. The Decentralized Anarchist Collective has been suspended after Elon Musk responded to far right-wing propagandist Andy Knopp, who specifically requested their removal from Twitter. This is who Donald Trump just had a dinner with. this is going to be the most racist, sexist, anti-Semitic, Holocaust-denying speech in all of Dallas this weekend. Elon Musk is also lifting his permanent ban. So that's what's happening. The permanent ban lift, that's what the latest sort of outrage. So this is a video sort of, throwing gasoline on the fire of the discussion, trying to rile people up. I feel like this post is for. And let's listen.
I was just telling everybody we're doing a press conference at 5:00 p.m. at the Sheraton Hotel, which is like across the street. I'll be giving my most unchained speech ever. I'm off of Twitter. I have nothing to lose. So this is going to be the most racist. The most anti-Semitic. The most Holocaust denying. Speech in all of Dallas this weekend. Yes. So I'll see you there. Should we try to walk in and see it? It is America uncanceled after all, isn't it? Well, I'm an American and I've been canceled, so I think I'm going in to see that right now.
This is some clown shit right here. But this video is not the point, so I don't need to continue. But this is clown shit. Who is this? Does anybody know who this is? Unban Garland. Yes. Let's see. Somebody said what? That's the Kanye West ass wiper. I don't know the Kanye West story. So okay, so somebody said Dr. Oz. Kind of look like Dr. Oz. Resemble him a little bit. He's from InfoWars. Is that what that is? Does anybody know his name? Nick Fuentes. The Fuentes part I vaguely remember. Vaguely remember that name. So I don't know him too much. Dana doesn't know. Yeah, it said Nick Fuentes. So I'm assuming that's him. So let's continue with the receipts. I don't want to go too deep into this video because it has another minute to go. But the point of the post is that the permanent ban that's being unlifted, like the amnesty, if you haven't heard, Elon put a poll up about should people who have been banned permanently have amnesty. The vote was overwhelmingly 70+% yes. That is making news. Like, to me, like, these things is making news about Twitter, making Twitter this thing now, outside of just what people are just here to tweet. Like, this is so, it seems so organized and methodical to me. Let's read this one. Hello, Elon. Right-wing trolls are mass reporting popular left pages like this person, yes, and this person who bring a lot to the table with their content. If this continues, I don't see Twitter lasting. They both deserve reinstatement. And then this is Chuck Modi, friend of the show. Do a show with him. The NBA show I do with him. That's NBA on RBN. I think it's making a comeback next Tuesday. Chuck says incredible anti-fascist fighter and researcher gets Twitter suspend days after Garland Nixon. It seems clear Elon Musk will use Twitter to re-platform racists and de-platform anti-racists. If this is the path, Elon should have just bought Parler. And then Chuck just goes on to shout out some other stuff about where you can find them. Those two people. Here's Elon. I am neither conventionally right nor left, but I agree with your point. The woke mind virus has thoroughly penetrated entertainment and is this is not the tweet, but it's a good tweet to read. Is pushing civilization towards suicide. There needs to be a counter narrative. This is just clown shit here. Because this is the question. Nick answered this question. What do you think of the culture war? And that's another thing. Now he owns it. So now all of his tweets are literally like news setting. So what do you think of the culture war? Like, this just feels like this is too coincidental to me. All of what's sort of happening. Again, the people, the left media sphere, the TYTs, the majority reports, the human reports that go after him, that's a different reason. They're involved. They're doing the dirty work of they're doing the dirty work of the ruling class also. But why is this narrative playing out is the question I'm trying to get at. So we went to Twitter. Now let's go to YouTube. Actually, let's go to DuckDuckGoose. Let's see what headlines are latest on Elon here. And this is what I mean. So let's see what sort of headlines come up. So Elon Musk, and we'll go Twitter, and we'll go Amnesty. I think that's it. So here goes some of the articles. So let's click on some of them. So click here. We're gonna have to speed this up because Sabby Sab will be coming on in just a moment here. So we're gonna speed this up in a little. But Elon Musk, here's one of the headlines. Elon Musk says he is granting amnesty to suspended Twitter accounts. And this is the thing that has got people going crazy. Now, I haven't seen this particular one, but let's watch it. It's from CBS. It's a global tech editor, so they're probably just reporting on just news. But let's listen. Let's see if I'm able to hear it actually. Does it actually play or is it commercials? These things you never know. If not, I'll just read it because I think this is the video version of the article. Not playing, so let's read it. New Twitter owner Elon Musk said Thursday that he is granting amnesty. Oops, I guess it is playing. So let's listen.
The bans on former President Trump and rapper Kanye West. Is it yay or yay?
Yay.
It's yay.
It's yay.
Yay.
The artist formerly known as Kanye.
Also the reaction. However, Musk said he would not let conspiracy theorist Alex Jones back on the site. And we should note, in a confusing episode over the weekend, after pausing to assess security concerns, CBS News and news stations then resumed activity on Twitter and will continue to monitor the situation. Okay, let's bring in Alistar Barr. He's the global tech editor for Business Insider. Alistar, thank you for being here. What is Elon Musk doing with these decisions to let some people on and other people not on? It just seems willy-nilly.
Like why is this? I mean, it's just a feeling of why is this such a thing? Why is Twitter now such a story? Like, they would be a story and it would be out of the cycle. It just feels like Elon has been in the cycle every single day since he's taken over Twitter, not missing a day. And I'm saying, to me, that feels a little suspicious.
So in the past, he has said that he's not in favor of lifetime bans from Twitter. So that's really the only sort of concrete thing that we can grab onto with these decisions. The actual official rules of Twitter have not changed. So there's still rules on things like you cannot incite violence. You cannot threaten or harass people based on gender and race and age and a lot of other characteristics. So really, Musk is basically making these calls based on, I think what he thinks is a new rule which hasn't officially been adopted, but basically that if you have been banned in the past, it's not for life, and you might be able to come back on. So in addition to Trump and Kanye West, Kathy Griffin is back on as well. She impersonated Trump and got banned from the platform. She impersonated Musk and was banned from the platform, and she's also back on very recently as well.
So, Alistair, did Twitter?
All right, I'm going to speed this up for the sake of time. So now let's go to YouTube, and more so not to show you specific clips, but just to show you the amount of clips. It's ridiculous. Again, something's going on. I don't know what's going on, but the ruling class they don't do anything just willy-nilly and just off the cuff. Okay? Something's going on here. He is supposedly the reluctant owner of Twitter. I don't know. But anyway, so here we go. So Elon Musk to grant amnesty for suspended accounts. Of course, Fox News has completely different narratives about Elon Musk. Elon Musk teases release of info of Hunter Biden laptop. So does that play into the part of now Twitter being a culture war? Because of his stance on the laptop. Like, I'm just trying to tease this out as to what this is. Elon Musk's shirt he found in Twitter building. Like, how is that a story? You see what I mean? Let's go to some more. CNN has really been the one leading the way. Musk says he will begin restoring previously banned accounts. Putin is going to be all over Twitter. Analysis on Elon Musk changes. This is clown shit. This is clown shit. But you see, this is what I mean about the assault on Elon Musk's Twitter. Why is this happening this way? So let's listen to some of this ridiculousness and we'll move to the next story. I think it's the last story because Sabby Sab is up in about 30 minutes. So yeah, this is only 2 hours old. So this is the latest of the latest about Musk.
Online poll. He tweeted, quote, "The people have spoken." It's a move that's raising some serious national security concerns. New Twitter owner Elon Musk says that he is going to begin restoring previously banned accounts next week. That includes users banned for threats and harassment. Musk announced the decision after conducting an online poll. He tweeted, quote, "The people have spoken. Amnesty begins next week." And then in Latin, the voice of the people is the voice of God. Joining us now is CNN intelligence and security analyst Bob Baer. Bob, thanks for joining us. We hope you're enjoying the
intelligence and security analyst. So put your trust in him, proletariat. These are the reasons for all these titles. A dumb worker? Listen to this person who has education.
the Thanksgiving holiday. I'm curious to get your reaction to these accounts being reinstated.
Well, Boris, I can tell you one thing. Putin is going to be all over Twitter. If there's no regulations on this, fake accounts, spoof accounts.
Now, you get how he just said he's the security expert, and the security expert is bringing up Russiagate. These motherfuckers, they really doing some in-your-face propaganda. This is some nonsense right here.
The rest of it, this is a great opportunity for him. And so when he's talking about the popular voice, Musk, he's really talking about Russian intelligence. The Russians are waiting for something like this. They need a propaganda campaign against the United States and against our support for Ukraine. And they're going to be all over Twitter. I guarantee this, supporting the far right plan.
You see what I mean? What's really happening here? What's really happening? Like, why this assault, this nationwide sort of attack on Elon Musk's Twitter? And I'm not saying he's not part of this whole narrative, playing the villain. But something
plans, demands to stop arming Ukraine. You just wait.
Bob, I'm curious to get
he interjected Ukraine and arming Ukraine with a story about Elon. What the
thoughts on the counter argument that I've heard to this, because a lot of folks say that there's not really that many Americans on Twitter, but big picture, that kind of misinformation, that kind of influence campaign can have a big effect, right?
Well, it cascades. If you put up disinformation, which the Russians will put up, it'll cascade everywhere. It'll cascade in India, it'll cascade in Europe. It'll appeal to the European far right. It appeal to the Chinese, and you'll see this stuff just appearing everywhere. You just need one piece of disinformation that's sort of half believable, and it will go a long way around the world and really truly affect our policy.
And it gets more.
That is projection. That is projection. His propaganda, CIA talking point propaganda goes a long, long way. All of that is what he's talking about.
To discern what's real and what is, misinformation or disinformation, with deep fakes and with the sophistication by which some of these influence campaigns are developed. How do you discern what's real versus what's fake, even, in light of that sophistication?
The guy who's pushing Russiagate is answering that question. What's real and what's fake?
Well, that's why the pre-Musk Twitter had 7,000 people going through these accounts. You can pick them out with algorithms. You can pick them out by looking at them. You can check IPs and the rest of it, and you simply block them. And it's not right. And this freedom of speech is just nonsense, because you can't go into a movie theater and yell fire. It's against the law. And what Putin's going to do.
You can't go into the movie theater. This is the expert, Robert Baer, an intelligence and security analyst.
And the Russians is they're going to use this as a vehicle to save himself in Ukraine. And, whether it's going to work or not, I don't know. But we're going to see, as soon as these restrictions come off, we're going to see the Russians all over it, as I just said.
So if you had an opportunity to offer a piece of advice to Elon Musk, or to counsel him, or simply to send him a message, what would you say?
I'd say this libertarian nonsense is destructive to American national security, and he has got to reinstitute the same
former CIA operative
that were on Twitter before he bought it. There is no other choice.
We know he's telling the truth. He's telling the truth. So I didn't know he was a former CIA operative. Maybe one of you said in the notes. I think maybe you did, but it flashed on the screen. So we already know he's lying. So everything he said, you could just say that's a lie. Let's move to the next thing. Let's move to the next story, because like I said, we got to get out of here. Now I want to try to squeeze in 2 stories before we have to take off. And let's go. I'm already on Twitter. So let's go to... Did I save it and watch later? Let's see. So the next story is the January 6th, and the FBI admits. Now, because I don't have a New York Times subscription, and I've already been maxed out for, oops, what happened? How did it get to this? I've already been maxed out for the, oh, I get what happened. I hit fast forward. I've already been maxed out for the year. For the month. Why does it keep doing this? Hang on a second, everybody. Okay, I think I now have it. I think I do. Do I? Okay, now I have it. All right, so it took a while for it to start working. So I was saying I don't have that membership, but Jimmy is able to read it. So he's going to read this article. I'm going to kind of fast forward to the part where he reads about the article. This is not the right one. So let's go back. Let's click this way. This is starting to work me nerves. Why is this doing this here? All right. So I think now we got it. All right. So finally we got it. So now let's make this bigger. And like I was saying, or maybe I wasn't saying this, let's like the stream. We're currently let's see where we're at. The target was 300. Let's see if we hit it. As far as our like, let's like the stream in between segments here. We're at 288, so 12 more to hit the target. 12 more to hit the target, and let's push actually to 325. 325. Can we push to 325? 325 likes. Let's push there. Join our Substack. If you just got here an hour and a half into it, or you're watching this on replay, join our Substack if you want notifications of when we go live, or we have when we go live, or we clips. That's what I was trying to remember. So let's listen to a little bit of the Jimmy part, and then I'm going to comment. This we're playing Jimmy for the receipts, and then I'll comment on the story. But this is FBI. What's the title? If you want to look this up, FBI or feds admit to having agents amongst January 6th. So let's just say FBI and January 6th rioters. That's the label they give them. So let's call it that. So that's what this segment is. Let's listen a little bit to Jimmy.
Hey, remember January 6th? Turns out the FBI had infiltrators in the crowd like we thought.
Oh, thank God they put a stop to that bloody attack that day.
I mean, we knew they did, but now the establishment is validating it. So now the New York Times is printing it. So now we can say it. So, and you know, give them credit. They know how to have fun, those FBI guys, huh? The FBI has had as many as 8 MFers, informants inside the far-right Proud Boys in the months surrounding the storming of the Capitol on January 6th. Recent court papers indicate raising questions about how much federal investigators were able to learn from them about the violent mob attack, both before and after it took place. You know, all the other...
Let me read it also. This is... The FBI had as many as 8 informants inside the far-right Proud Boys in the months surrounding the storming of the Capitol on January 6, 2021. Recent court papers indicate raising questions about how much federal... I'm sorry, I should have said it a different way. So raising questions about how much federal investigators were able to learn from them about the violent mob attack, both before and after it took place. This is from the New York Times.
The other stories I read about the FBI embedding, what they do is they then concoct whatever the crime is that they want the group to do. The FBI concocts that crime.
How much they were able to teach them.
That's
about
right.
How to do
shows them how to do it,
Yeah.
and then entices them to do the
It's not
crime.
entrapment. It's perfectly.
That's right.
They have to just show it's in your nature.
That's right.
That's the legal wording. In
your nature. So the FBI has been running around. So
What
now
is the
they're
Proud Boy.
So now they're saying they're just trying to learn. Like they weren't actually the ones helping plan it. Really? I'd be surprised to find out they weren't the ones actually planning it. The informants were well liked. They were always ready to pick up Heineken and blueprints of Schumer's office. The existence of the informants came to light over the past few days in a flurry of veiled court filings by defense lawyers for 5 members of the Proud Boys who are set to go on trial next month on seditious conspiracy charges connected to the Capitol attack. Boy, nobody knows the law like an insurrectionist. Am I right? Come on. In the papers, some of which were heavily redacted, the lawyers claim that some of the information the confidential sources had provided to the government was favorable to their efforts to defend their clients against sedition charges and was improperly withheld by prosecutors until several days ago. In a sealed filing quoted by the
It's crazy. I do want to read for myself, so let me go back and read this part, and then we'll go. In papers, some of which heavily redacted. Sorry, did I go back far enough? Yeah, okay. In papers, in the papers, some of which are heavily redacted, the lawyers claim that some of the information the confidential sources had provided to the government was favorable to their efforts to defend their clients against sedition charges and was improperly withheld by prosecutors until several days ago. Why would they do that?
redacted, the lawyers.
Let's move to the next part of the article and I'll read it.
Held by prosecutors until several days ago. In a sealed filing quoted by the defense, prosecutors argued that hundreds of pages of documents related to the FBI informants were neither suppressed by the government nor directly relevant to the case of the Proud Boys facing sedition charges. So now the government's trying to say, hey, we didn't suppress them, and by the way, they don't have nothing to do with nothing anyway.
That Enrique Tarrio guy, I already heard was an informant and other things several times. In fact, I remember the press saying it like, see, he's an informant. So I don't even know why that's.
I don't know either. But that's good old FBI inspiring future generations of white supremacists to name their firstborn Enrique.
I'm not really clear on what the Proud Boys.
So let me read this last part and then we're going to close this segment. But this is what we already thought and knew and felt. I mean, we already knew. And why? I mean, to me, the January 6th committee hearings or whatever the full name is called, this is the reason why to me it was suspect from the start. Because if you don't have the participation of the FBI's role in it, this is a joke, in my opinion. So let me read this aloud for those that listening. Maybe, the sound from Jimmy, your video, you may not hear as well. So that's why I like to read it. Also, in a sealed filing quoted by defense, prosecutors argued that hundreds of pages of documents related to the FBI informants were neither suppressed by the government nor directly relevant to the case of the Proud Boys facing sedition charges. Then they name the people. It's crazy. Go check out the article if you have access. If you haven't been on the New York Times website lately in the last 30 days, you're able to watch it or read the article on your own without having to pay or have a membership. But I think I've already used like 2 or 3 articles this month or in the last 30 days. So I'm unable to continue to read anything new until it resets. Now let's go to the final story so we can get out of here before Sabby is due to be here, and it's not a long story, so I think we'll be fine. And that is Amazon Black Friday strike. This is mainly just a bunch of videos that I'm going to be showing you here. But now let's just end here with this topic here. And let's go to my bookmarks. I think I have some Amazon stuff here. But we shall see. Let me see. Covered that one with Nick. Covered that one. Here goes one. I'll put this one up here. So let's go to this first one here. In a second here. So I have a couple of video from tweets. So let's do those first. And I should have them saved. So let's do that. All right, so let's go down. All right, so Amazon. What is the latest? That's the one. But I'm going to show you this one from the Hill first. I don't think this has sound. So thousands of Amazon warehouse workers are staging strikes and walkouts on their jobs on Black Friday, pushing for the company to provide better wages and protect the global environment as it produces strong revenue numbers. And here is the video. There's some reading, so I'll read it. There's no voice, but there is a reading on the screen. I'll try to keep up. Thousands of Amazon workers strike walkouts. I think I read it already, maybe. Turn it down. So maybe it's the part that I've already read. Yeah. So they're just showing. Yeah. So this part so far I've read. There's several Amazon warehouses not near me, but not that far. Strikes and walkouts are planned for Black Friday in more than 30 countries as part of the Make Amazon Pay campaign. The countries include United States, India, Australia, Japan, and many in Europe. The website for the campaign states that the real wages are dropping for Amazon workers while the company makes record revenue, including $121 billion in Q2 of this year. Quote, but instead of supporting its workers, communities, and the planet, Amazon is squeezing every last drop it can, end quote, the website states. And states that Amazon paid no income tax in Europe last year, was paid 1 billion euros in tax credit and 55 billion euros in the United States. The campaign also states that Amazon only included 1% of its sales in its carbon accounting, but its carbon dioxide emissions rose by 18% last year. Amazon has previously faced accusations from its workers it is not paying fair wages and criticisms over its impact on the environment. Workers at Amazon warehouse in New York voted to form the company's first union earlier this year. I believe that's it. So that is the gist of the story. I'll play one more video and then we can head out to kind of round out the story of Amazon. Now, you can check out this article from Reuters. Amazon workers call to strike across globe on Black Friday. Let's click this one here and copy the address. This article from Common Dream also talks about what's happening. You can go check it out. This is the title. On Black Friday, Amazon workers in 40 plus countries strike and protest despicable treatment. So that is the headline. If you want to go to make sure you're going to go check it out. And Sabby Sab is coming up in 10 minutes or maybe 9 minutes now. 6 p.m. Eastern. So I'm going to be getting off here. Make sure you like the stream. The target is 325. Let me read a couple of snippets here. quote, instead of paying its workers fairly, it taxes in full, and for its damage to the environment, Amazon is squeezing every last drop it can from workers, communities, and the planet. This article by Jake Johnson. Thousands of Amazon workers in more than 40 countries are planning to mark Black Friday by walking off the job and protesting the corporate behemoth abuse of employees and climate, as well as chronic avoidance of taxes while raking in huge profits. Make Amazon pay actions are expected to include marches and rallies for union recognitions in Bangladesh, strikes at near 20 warehouses in France and Germany, walkouts in dozen cities in the United States, and protests by newly unionized workers in Japan. So Japan is unionized, so if you didn't know. All right, so we're going to end it there. Thank you for joining us. Sabby Sabs is up next. Take a breather, go use a restroom, and then make sure you're back for the Sabby Sabs show. She's talking about Kanye West and Donald Trump. The Kanye West and Donald Trump ticket. I'm going to go use a restroom and make sure I come back for this. There's the graphic there. Because this is going to be a funny or a entertaining one. I wouldn't say funny. It is funny because Kanye West and Donald Trump. Could you imagine Kanye West and Donald Trump being together? Anyway, let's find our closeout video and head on out here. Where am I? Right here. All right, everybody, this is White Savior. Have a great rest of your day. Stay tuned for Sabby. Take a bathroom break. Make sure you're back here at 6 p.m. to listen to the Sabby Sab Show.
What do you think a white savior is?
Oh, look how great I am. Here I am in Africa doing a great job.
What do you think a white savior is?
Oh. Look how great I am. Here I am in Africa doing a great job.
It's almost like they want to come to the rescue of the black man, but it's disingenuous because they're only doing it because of they want the recognition.
And it's like, no one asked you to do that. You can go anywhere else and do it. So
in a movie where, like, you know, the cast is black, right? And then the person who helps the black getaways get away is the one white guy, and he turns up in the movie for like 4 minutes, but his name is the first one that comes up at the start.
Oh my God, white man, you saved me from that situation.
Between forest fires, plastic-filled oceans, lonely polar bears stranded on melting ice floes, global viruses, deadly air pollution, famine, and not getting a text back, I am riddled with anxiety. Who will save us from this hot, burning pile of garbage we call Earth? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's White Savior. Sorry, guys. Hate to be the party pooper, but that's not how it works. I do get it. Hidden Figures, Avatar, Django Unchained, The Help. If white people are constantly being told they're the main character, why wouldn't they want to center themselves in every narrative? But sometimes you just have to step away from the limelight. Sorry, it's not about you. White saviors aren't going to save us. In fact, white savior complex is a symptom of white supremacy. It's what was used to justify slavery, colonialism, and empire. Europeans didn't spend centuries pillaging the entire world for power and wealth. No. It was about rescuing billions of poor black and brown people from a living hell of heathen savagery by bringing them God, Queen, and cricket. The white savior complex is, well, it's complex. Because so often it's about privileged people trying to make themselves feel better and hopefully getting a few more followers on Instagram while they're at it about the very real problems that they created. And before you jump in to tell me, that wasn't me, that was hundreds of years ago. Today's privileged white Westerners are still the beneficiary of all of the awful things that make life intolerable for everyone else, whether they were done 300 years ago or last Tuesday. Every time. The white savior industrial complex is real. And it really isn't working. And it's black and brown people who will suffer first and worst from the environmental impacts of climate change. So there you have it. I'm not